Hey everybody, it's Mike with BPS Woodworks. I'm going to do a video today and show you our new property here that, well, kind of new. I actually grew up here. This is where Maggie and I are going to build our new house and my new shop for BPS Woodworks. So I want to kind of do a video series and take you through it as we go through that process, which is going to take quite a while. We actually won't be building until next year. This is August of 25 right now, so depending on when you're watching this. We're in the very beginning phases. I'm standing in what would be the driveway entrance, or what will be the driveway entrance for the property. I apologize, there's some traffic on this road, so I'm going to kind of be pausing and waiting for cars. The house, by the way, is going to be about 400 feet back off the road, and that's why, part of the reason why. This is a property I grew up on as a kid. It was a farm. It was an 80-acre farm. Actually, right behind me, that tan-colored house across the street was my grandfather's house. So most of the land had been he parted it out to his sons and daughters, my aunts, uncles, and my mother. And a lot of them, most of them, have since sold and moved away. So my mother still had 4 acres here. She's deeded it over to my brother and I. She has life use of it. My brother's in Virginia. Doesn't really have any desire. He started his own family down there, as people do, and he doesn't have any intention of ever coming back here. So I said, hey, would you be willing to let me subdivide the lot, and I'll buy you out of your half of that land value so that I can build a house there. So he said, no problem, let's do it. So that's what we've done. So we have about 2.7 acres. The county, for some reason, insisted that I had to leave 1.25 for my mother, which she still has life use of, obviously. My brother and I are on the deed for that. So at some point down the road, someday, I'll probably buy him out of his half of that as well, and it'll come back in and be the full 4 acres again. So the way that we had to subdivide the lot, our lot here is like a giant L shape. So we're going to have our driveway, we're going to have a long driveway up the narrower part of the leg of the L, if you will, and then up on the hill in the back is where we're going to build the house. So we're just getting ready to start the process. You can't see it right now, but the excavator is actually sitting behind me. My excavator is getting ready to start the driveway. Maggie and I have already come out and done a little limb trimming on some trees and stuff like that. So we're super excited about this. But as you all know, everything is a process. We still have to get power up there and water, and there's permitting and all of that stuff that has to happen. And then of course there's the finances, so we're kind of spreading it out a little bit. I'm going to get on the other side of the camera and just kind of do a little walkthrough with you. I'll walk you up what will be the driveway and show you the property up there, and I'm going to keep making these videos as we go through this process. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. So again, I'm standing right now literally at the edge of the road. So we're in our driveway entrance, and you can see that it goes all way back up there on that hill way in the back. There's a big maple tree right there that we're actually gonna save. That's one of the ones we cut some branches off, because the driveway is gonna have to kind of gently bend around that tree because we want to keep that tree. Over here, this is you can't see it because it's all overgrown, but this is actually a stone wall here that is the border between the two properties, us and the neighbor. So that's obviously, that eventually will be all cleaned up and everything. You can see the excavator sitting there that I mentioned earlier. The excavator is going to start putting in the driveway here pretty soon, and I'm just going to take you on a little walk up through here. So the first thing that has to happen is, and again, you can't really see them right now, but in these tall weeds, there are 5 very large tree stumps that were left from 5 very large pine trees that I actually had somebody cut down last year. I had him leave the stumps because the excavator said it would be no problem for him to just yank them out with the excavator. So there's you can kind of see them in there, the big stumps. Like I said, they were big pine trees, and they were very overgrown and kind of planted too close together, and couldn't get in underneath them anymore to maintain the lawn, and so everything just kind of turned into a mess. But so the driveway is going to run right up. Once those stumps are out, it's going to run right up along the stone wall. You know, it'll probably be 20 feet at least away from the stone wall, but it'll run straight up through here, kind of where this excavator's sitting. And it'll just keep going right up through here. It's a little windy too, and I don't have one of those fancy little mics with the fuzzy thing on it yet, so I apologize if there's some wind noise in the video. I won't know until I play it back after, I guess. So here's that maple tree that I was pointing to that we're going to save, and that driveway will just kind of gently swerve out around that maple tree and then go back over to closer to the stone wall again, and all the way back up on that hill. You can see a single tree right there. That's a big birch tree that we're also going to try to save, and the house is going to sit just in front of and to the, well, I guess to my right if you're facing the tree. So over in here is where the house will be, and then behind the tree, probably over closer to the stone wall again, is where we're going to put the pole barn. I want to do a 40 by 60 pole barn, which is where BPS Woodworks is going to be. I'm pretty stoked about that because right now I'm working out of my basement at our house in the city, so that presents its challenges for those of you. I'm sure some of you have basement shops, you know what I'm talking about. Just had this field brush hogged actually yesterday. Yeah, so I'm going to walk up, I'm going to stop this, I'm going to walk up on top of the hill and start again so we can show you what the scenery looks like from up on top of the hill. Alright, so now we're standing at the top of that hill. We're on the high ground. Over here's that big birch tree that I said we were going to save. So I'm kind of sort of standing really right about where the house is going to be. We haven't staked it out and figured out exactly yet where it's going to be, but it'll be in this general area. You can see it's just beautiful scenery back there. Sunrises are really nice. It's beautiful in the fall when all the leaves are changing colors. Looking forward to being able to sit at my kitchen or dining room table and have a cup of coffee and look at that in the morning. And that goes way down. There's a hill back there, and it goes down just to that tree line is how far back our property goes. Now I'm going to turn around just to show you what it looks like. So now we're facing back towards the road. I don't know if you can, it's hard for me to tell on the little screen on this camera if you can still see the excavator up there, but hopefully this gives you a little bit of a sense of how far back from the road the house is. And that presents its challenges as well. It increases the cost of a lot of things, such as the driveway and getting power and water back here. Everything becomes more expensive because of that distance from the road, but we're convinced it's going to be well worth it to do that. Much more peaceful back here. You get away from that road a little bit. So, all right, well, thanks for watching, and I hope that you'll like and subscribe, and trying to just get this YouTube channel going. And if this is something you might be interested in seeing as we go through the process, plus some nice woodworking stuff I'm going to put on there. Hopefully that's really supposed to be the main focus of the channel. But yeah, so like and subscribe if you would. I'd appreciate it. And everybody take care. Hey, I'm back again. I want to show you this tree that we cut some limbs off of. You know, you'd think I'd know how to cut a limb off a tree. I grew up on a farm, but it's been a lot of years. And I think we did it right. I don't know. I did a little research on YouTube and the Google machine and all that. It said you did a 3-point cut, and you're supposed to leave the knuckle, but not cut into the stump, and not leave a stub sticking out either. So I'm going to show you some of these. I figure some of you watching might be tree guys or might know a little bit. Just tell me how I did. Let me know in the comments if I did this right or not. This is that maple tree again that we're saving, that the driveway is going to kind of loop around a little bit, but you can see some of the branches we cut off there. Try and get a shot from the side. Yeah, so like I said, let me know how you think I did, and if there's anything else I should do to those. I feel like I remember when I was a kid, my grandfather used to put something on them after he cut them, like, I don't know, probably motor oil or something. It seemed like he put motor oil on everything. This one I was a little worried about because it's right in the crotch of the tree. It was kind of a weird branch because it was sort of growing a little bit into that trunk on the right side there. All right. Well, I appreciate any tips and advice anyway on that, because I'm sure I'll be doing more of it in the future out here.